Do anything we want. Free and live media here. Fuck 'em. Start a free and live media. Fuck 'em. I've already, but whatever.
Yeah.
We are.
Well, it's Saturday night.
This Saturday night, indeed.
We are heading into our own free
Hey,
time. We're not on the clock.
we're not on the clock there. As opposed to those paid segments we do on Thursday night.
Our own free. Our own free time. We're not on the clock. There we are. That's us.
So,
Let's roll on.
I reckon we should.
G'day, sports fans. It's Saturday night. We're having a pretty unusual week. We've both been really under the pump, so we've decided to pull a Saturday nighter. It's going to be pretty low key tonight, pretty relaxed and casual.
Oh, extremely relaxed and casual. We're actually having a formal beer together with you, the folks.
Yep.
Good
Cheers
people.
to you.
Yes. Cheers to the
you.
good followers and supporters of Dean and Nerve Spin Doctors. We do appreciate you all. Obviously, it's a bit unusual for still Saturday night. But, I don't think it's a bad idea. We had a few people messaging Thursday night going, what's going on? What's going on? Are you guys all right?
Yep.
The internet at my place is shot to pieces.
It's no good.
It's fucking terrible. Now, Optus keeps sending these messages saying it's going to get better, it's going to get better, it's going to get better.
Yeah.
We're going to fix this, we're going to fix that. It's been about a month now.
Yes, it's atrocious.
And I tell you what, I thought I did the Stewie Bonds chat and it's cut in and out. I'm sitting there, I'm looking in my living room. There's no reason in 2025 to have such shit internet service when it's not like they give it to us for free.
Oh, they're charging plenty. And on the back of all the NBN project and on the back of all the promises and on the back of all that, I'm sure. Look, first things first, before we get
before we unload,
we'll do some intros.
We better.
My name's Anthony Irvine. I'm a councillor on Temora Shire Council, but none of the views I express here are those of Temora Shire Council. They're my views. They're my own opinion, right? Now, thankfully, this document's been released. Free speech in local government in New South Wales, a guideline, and it was released on the 3rd of June 2025. Now, anything relative to council stuff, I'm going to abide by this guideline and hopefully not incur the wrath of anyone who's mildly offended. In the meantime, surely as a human and surely as an individual in Australia, I'm allowed to have my opinion on a lot of other matters that don't involve Temora Shire Council.
Well, are you sure?
Well, we're going to roll the dice and see, but at this point in time, we can only hope.
Yes. Allegedly free country. And I'm Dean McRae, your unelected, unofficial mayor.
Yeah.
I'm the mayor. I've decided this week.
I'll vote for you.
Yeah. The unofficial Mad Mayor of Temora, unelected by the constituents, but I'm going to take the title because I can.
Yeah, well,
and it'll be fun. It'll be fun. And
unelected mayor, I think that's been sitting vacant for some time. So surely you can assume the position. And
we shouldn't have so much fun with this. But Dean McRae, I'm apparently a bit of a troublemaker, depending on who you talk to. And for other people, I'm seen as a
freedom fighter, voice for the downtrodden, and representative of people who haven't got a voice.
And I can't be bought and sold. And if I was bought, like if somebody's come to me and said, we're going to pay you money to have an opinion, I would, have to share that opinion enough to be willing to share it.
Yes.
And then I would say to the people, I believe in this wholeheartedly. And yes, they've just given me a check. So I guess I get into trouble for being probably a little bit too frank with people at times, but I'm not going to apologise for that either. I stand for what I stand for, and I say the things I believe. Some people agree, some people don't. I have a feeling a lot more agree quietly than they do loudly.
Well, that's one of the problems that we encounter in these small towns, and there is a
one of the problems we encounter in Australia.
Yeah, well, that's true, but even in the small towns with this overbearing group that seem to want to control everything, there are people out there who are staunch supporters of us. In the ballot box and just in the day-to-day, but they just know that
they risk backlash if they're seen to be somewhat
they know
supportive.
that they'll incur backlash.
Yeah.
My objective, and this is the thing that I've got a couple of people say to me, you go too hard. You take it too personal. Some of the things you say are probably hurtful to other people. And I just say to those people, I say, well, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
Because
hey, Bruce, there you go. And thanks for tuning in on a Saturday night, guys.
In this
Appreciate
situation,
it.
I've had a group of people come at me and they've tried to destroy my business, destroy my reputation, and destroy everything that I've spent 25 years working for to establish in this town. They want me in the corner, in the fetal position, sucking my thumb, rocking backwards and forwards.
Begging for forgiveness.
No, but not even that. Not even just they want me dysfunctional. They want to be able to basically just completely destroy me so that they can say, see what happens to people who go against it.
Yeah.
Now,
don't you dare fight our machine. Yeah. Do you know who we are?
Yes, exactly. But the only way that you can counteract that is to stand up straight, look them in the eye, do really well, have a successful business, have successful relationships, function within the community. And look, I might be the first person who stood up in this space for some time. I hope I've created an environment where more people feel comfortable to do so. And look, I'm telling you, I will protect those rights.
Absolutely.
So, I think that era of fear is dissipating rapidly. I'm obviously an example that regardless of what they try and throw at you, if you stand up straight and what have I always said? If you act in honour, the universe will protect you.
Yeah.
Now, that's a deeply held belief of mine.
William Wallace agreed with that right before they put him on a spike, but,
But even to that end,
history has served him well.
Well,
he's certainly far better liked than King.
And I'm tipping that he had a long-lasting impact, and he probably
he's still having an impact.
Yeah, and he created freedoms for others into the future. So
absolutely.
And if that's the case, if that's the road you have to take, that's the road you have to take.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be quite as final and gory and bloodthirsty as William Wallace's.
Oh.
I'll give you an example. I had to take a whole day out of my program on Friday to write a submission for NCAT.
Yeah.
Because I've got a hearing at NCAT coming up on the 22nd of August. That hearing at NCAT is into the matters regarding the deed of employment or the deed of separation. Temora Shire Council entered into with their former general manager, Mr. Gary Lavelle.
Yeah.
I believe there's solid grounds for the release of that information initially, and you'll remember I was told that in order for me to even view that document, I had to sign a non-disclosure agreement, a confidentiality agreement. Then I could view a paper copy of it in the company of the mayor, in the council chambers, and I could not discuss it with any person.
Yes, which doesn't seem dodgy at all.
Well, but seriously, okay, let's look at where we're at now. We've got a document where about 90 to 95% of that document has been publicly released to the community.
As it should be.
Yes, and I'm going back to NCAT to get the last 5 to 10% released, if I can. And if I can't, well, boo-hoo.
Yeah.
I still think I've done something that no one else could.
Yes, absolutely have. And you've stood your ground, and you've challenged the status quo.
And I've exercised my rights.
Yep.
And I haven't been bullied.
And you've also, more importantly, from my perspective, with all that, and obviously I think we spoke about that initially on Pterodactyl FM was when that first came up.
Yes, absolutely.
We've stood our ground in the concept of they wanted to hide a document from the public. Now, I don't think it was you necessarily they wanted to hide it from, other than you were the poor silly bugger who asked. You brought it up. Your job was to not bring it up. The public voted you in. That particular election cycle, you got the second highest primary vote.
Yes.
You finished second by the mayor, and there was only two of you whose names anybody knew, and the other, let's be fair. And when you asked that question, and they lawyered up immediately, and you told me about it, the skin crawled. The hairs on the back of my neck popped up.
Hmm.
You don't lawyer up for something like that unless there's something in there that really you know is not going to pass a sniff test or a pub test.
Well, we've already discovered that there's some really serious shortcomings in the agreement, and I've reviewed the agreement on a number of occasions, and I can't find benefit for the community of Temora in it.
Yeah.
So when you've got an agreement between an individual and the community of Temora,
Yep.
and the benefit seems to favour the individual and not the community of Temora, I wonder why that agreement was entered into. And that's my opinion.
Yeah.
But
and you know what? There's going to be a percentage that are going to go, look, he served in his role for 30 plus years and did a great job in many people's eyes. Now, I whatever, that's fine.
That's your view.
Well, I thought he did some great work for sure, without a doubt. But if whatever agreement you've come to, upon departure, needs to be kept so secretive that a local councillor who's been elected by the people is told that he's not allowed to look at it without a lawyer or an NDA, there's a pub test that's not going to pass. It's not right. There's something significantly wrong with that concept because obviously we're hiding something, and we're hiding something significant. I can comfortably say Gary, obviously, I'm sure he did very well out of the community as the community did well out of his service, I'm sure. Two-way streets. 30 years, Irvine Signs have provided excellent quality signs in Temora. For 30-odd years, Gary Lavelle did a good job, as best I can tell, as a general manager of Temora Shire Council. Why is there a secret at the end of it?
Yeah.
What is that secret? Why was the whole thing? Should have been, we had a 12-month farewell tour. And, you know, we're so happy with everything, all the work that Gary performed.
But he's now resigned.
He's now resigned, but this is the package that we as a community have decided, or we as a council have decided we'd like to offer him. You know, and I imagine if they did it like that, if it was a fair dinkum package, most people would go, oh, look, fair enough. Yeah, look, it is what it is. Probably not. But when they lawyer up on the one councillor asks a question about secret service type document, I, for one, become very, very concerned about
what's in the package. What they basically did, and this is the unusual part. In 2019, they entered into an agreement that said, when you come to the end of this contract,
yes,
because they entered into a contract for him to be the general manager for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
At the end of this contract, we're going to re-engage you on an award staff contract, and you're going to be able to take as long as it takes for you to draw down your leave and entitlements that you've accrued over this significant period of time.
While accruing more, I would imagine.
Well, that's what I mean. It's written into the agreement. So you don't have to do any duties. You're going to be on the books. You're going to be paid. Well, you're going to be on our workers' comp obligations, and you do accrue leave and entitlements whilst you're using up leave and entitlements.
Yes.
So that's an additional cost to the community. The workers' comp's an additional cost to the community. But what's the benefit? Like, we could have just said, okay, well, this is what we owe you. Thanks very much. Bye.
Yeah. You got all this leave. Here's $1 million, whatever it is.
There's your money.
My head would explode, but I know I'm in the minority when it comes to my head exploding over how much the council spend on anything.
No, but if it's not our choice, that's in the agreement.
Yeah.
And that's been accrued with leave and entitlements as per whatever arrangements have been in place. This is what we owe you. We tally it up on the last day of work and we go, this is what we owe you. Here's a check.
Yeah.
Thanks very much. Bye. So the question is, why do we have to retain him in this newly created role?
Yes.
And then why does he have to accrue leave and entitlements on that basis, which actually cost us more?
Yep.
And obviously, if we've got this individual sitting on the books, that's going to affect our workers' comp, so that's going to cost us more.
Yep.
There's all these other things that cost us more. And because he doesn't have to perform any duties, I can't see the benefit coming back to us.
I don't know. I want that job. Sounds all right.
But you understand, like, when you've got an agreement, there's got to be two parties to the agreement and there's got to be benefit for both. And I don't see any benefit for us.
Yes.
So,
and the agreement was entered in on behalf of us.
Absolutely. Now, and this is the thing. If you had a general manager with a significant amount of accrued leave and entitlements,
yep,
the transparent and open way to address that, from my mind, and this is only my opinion.
Yeah, you're entitled to it, I believe.
Well, you could have entered into the final 5-year contract that you wish to engage that individual in, and you could have said, work out all of your leave and entitlements and work back from the end date of this contract.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you work up to that date, and then you go on extended leave.
Yep.
Right. We will continue to pay you your pay, and that will take care of all of the accrued leave and entitlements that we owe you, and you can take that over a period of years.
Yep.
In the meantime, we will engage an acting general manager. We will engage the acting general manager on this basis, and everyone will know what we're doing. Everyone will know we've engaged an acting general manager. Everyone will know what we're paying the acting general manager, and everyone will know what's going on.
So transparency and accountability.
Everyone will know what the end date is for Mr. Lavell's situation. Everyone will know what the costs are. Everyone will know and there's no disadvantage there.
Yep.
And at the end of that, then you can choose to retain the acting general manager and offer a permanent position to that individual. Or if you feel like there's probably a better prospect out there, you might go out to the market and advertise the position.
Sure, absolutely.
Whatever happens, then that's a clear and transparent way to do it for your community area.
The people who are paying the bill.
What we had here was a situation whereby in 2019, they entered into an agreement that set up all of the provisions of this somewhat secret agreement.
Yes.
And then they ran up to the date when Mr. Lavell resigned. And then, of course, they tell everyone, oh, he's retired, he's resigned. Thanks very much, Gary. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it was a pretty solid tour, yep.
Yep. Dinners, farewells, public acknowledgement, articles in the newspaper,
yep.
Articles in the local media, TV, the whole story. Gary Lavell's resigned, yet council re-engage him in this award staff contract as an executive manager.
Yes.
In a position, in the same contract that says, but you don't have to perform any duties.
Yeah.
So you're back on the books, but you're not on the
books. You don't have to do anything.
You don't have to do anything, and we're telling everyone you've quit, but you haven't. You're still here, but there's all this confusion and devil's advocate.
Sure.
What happens if Mr. Lavell hurt himself
while riding a horse on holidays in Darwin? Is he on the council payroll for that?
Well, if he's on an award staff contract and he doesn't have to perform any duties, but he's engaged by council, you imagine he may be covered by that.
Possibly. I don't know.
That seems like a risk that I wouldn't really want to contemplate.
No.
As an employer.
Yeah, of course.
Do you understand just how difficult this situation is?
I understand, and you're far more politically correct about it than what I am.
Well, I have to be, because I've got the free speech in local government New South Wales guidelines that I want to abide by.
Indeed. Now, we've got Gwen Clark.
Yes.
You've stood your ground, and I'll go back a little bit just because we like our when we can.
Look, we're really happy to have people who deem this stuff important enough to tune into, and certainly if they want to make a comment, well, we think it's highly valuable.
Oh, absolutely. You've stood your ground. The ballot box has proven that. It is just it's proven that it is just most will only show you that with the ballot box, unfortunately. So I'm assuming she sort of means that that's where they're going to support you as opposed to publicly.
Oh,
this came in a little while ago when we first came on air. Irv, you have asked a question. You are entitled to ask any question whilst on council, regardless of its importance. You are allowed to ask for clarification. It is unfortunate, though, it has gotten muddy for some reason. And followed up with, and are you still waiting for answers? Well, I think the answer there, Gwen, is yes, we're all still waiting for answers on that particular particular topic, and NCAT in a couple of weeks.
I'm probably going to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning because I can't afford to drive to Sydney the day before and wipe out an afternoon's work as well as the following day and pay for the accommodation that night. So I'll probably have to drive up to Sydney in the morning, pay for parking for the day at whatever that's going to cost me, $100 plus, meals, go to NCAT, represent myself against the might of Lindsay Taylor lawyers, who are just this massive law firm from Sydney, who are going to charge whatever they charge council. They're basically charging me.
Well, they're charging you to, and they're charging us.
Yes.
They are charging us, yes.
So to have this matter heard, and then I'll probably drive home that night.
Yeah.
So I'll probably leave at 5 a.m, and depending on how the hearing goes, it could run into the early afternoon. It's been scheduled for a full day if required. Hopefully it won't take that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not that complex a matter. Hopefully we can basically put all of our points forward in the morning session, and maybe I might be able to get back on the road by, say, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and maybe get home by 6 or 7 that night.
Yeah.
You know, it's still a 12, 14-hour day, plus all the costs borne by me, plus the loss of wages, plus. But these questions need to be answered.
Yeah. I think the public deserves to know. We're paying the bill.
Well,
worry about the copper rate rise.
Oh.
You know, they want to charge us more and more, and apparently we're not entitled to ask any questions for things we're paying for.
Yeah, and even the cost that council are incurring in relation to this matter.
Yeah.
You know, someone in the community needs to pipe up and say, what's this costing us?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, I say it, but I'm probably not the best person to keep vocalising it.
And send a letter to the general manager and ask the question.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, 500 people in town all send the same letter going, excuse me, what's the story?
Yes, and how much is this costing us to keep this secret?
Yeah, we know that the squeaky wheel gets the oil, as they say, but you know, I've been a squeaky wheel for a long time.
Yeah, well, like I say. So anyway, that's where that one's at. So here we are at the end of local government week, and you know, it's just.
Well, I'll tell you what I've noticed. I have noticed that Councillor Brenton Hawkins been very proactive on his social media. How do you find him?
Oh, look.
Not disparaging or whatever. I'm just saying I've noticed that he's been very, very proactive on his social media in the last few weeks.
Councillor Hawkins seems to be piggybacking on Temora Shire Council's page, and also just promoting himself fairly heavily in the space. But look,
I'm not opposed to that. That sort of is part of the game. But he obviously has some sort of ambitions. I don't know the bloke well. I've met him once.
Well, the question is for Councillor Hawkins is, where does he sit in relation to this matter?
Well, that's a very good question. I don't know.
Yeah, so
would Councillor Hawkins be willing to come and sit in here and have a chat with the doctors?
Would Councillor Hawkins just want to come out and make a public statement as to what he believes is the right and wrong? You know, does he believe that council should release the information? Does he believe council should
hide the information?
Does he believe council should be expending public monies in the defence of the secret?
I mean, I'd like to see that of all the councillors, but I've just noticed Councillor Hawkins sort of doing the modern councillor thing, which I'm all for it. I think they should be in the public eye. I haven't hammered him.
That's all well and good, but Councillor Hawkins is going to, if he wants to get in the public eye,
to start being willing to answer some tough questions.
That's right.
Because at some point,
both ways, because this is the whole thing.
Yeah.
I've copped a fair bit of pain in the local media, in a lot of circles in town, and rightly or wrongly, and a lot of it's, to my mind, has been really hurtful and baseless allegations that have been proven to be false. But that still doesn't affect the impact that it's had, and it also doesn't go any way to repairing all of the damage that's been done. So if Hawkins, if Councillor Hawkins wants to go down that road, that's fine. There'll be a point in time where Councillor Hawkins is going to have to walk the walk and talk the talk.
100% there will be. So, you know, like, I know how social media works.
At the moment, Councillor Hawkins appears to be attaching himself to and trying to build a profile in this safe space.
Yeah.
Where he can tack onto the back of all these touchy-feely good things.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to be touching any of the volatile.
You're going to roll your sleeves up and handle the dirt.
So
got to be able to do both ends of the business.
Are you going to make a stand? Are you going to take a side? Are you going to be part of the solution, or are you going to be part of the problem?
Yeah.
So that's where it's going to roll for Councillor Hawkins.
Gwen's just asked any of the other councillors have opinions, or where do they sit on the matter? Do you know? Are you sure?
Well, I don't know.
Are they all obviously ducking and weaving? And
well, have you heard anyone else who wants the answers?
Well, I guess that's the colourful thing, and I guess that was sort of the point that I was making. Councillor Furman, I believe, has a somewhat public profile. The only other one that I see, other than yourself, who has a modest profile, I actually keep trying to push you to use it a little bit more. But Councillor Hawkins, the only one I've seen that does any of that public stuff. I don't think Nigel or Paul Mann run Facebook pages or anything of that description. And I know some people go, "Oh, we don't have to have one." Yeah, great, that's fine, but it is 2025. And people don't get all their news, thank God, out of that's more independent.
Well, I'll say this.
Some people get information from other aspects.
All I'll say is this: has Councillor Hawkins come out and addressed any of the contentious issues?
Not that I've seen.
Okay, well,
I haven't seen any of the other councillors come out publicly and address any of the contentious issues.
Okay, well, I suppose from that position, we can only assume that Councillor Hawkins wants to be part of the machine.
It's either, yes, you're sort of complicit in your silence, I would think.
Or you're complicit and you are vocal, but you are going to push a narrative.
Yeah.
Will ingratiate you to
the machine as it currently sits.
Yeah. And that's
very rusted and soon to be broken machine, but a machine nonetheless.
Look, who knows?
Look, it's at 400,000 kilometres on the clock. It's buggered. It's just about done, mate. Parts are seizing up, engines broken. Oil's leaking.
I'm always the eternal optimist. And even today, I had a wonderful day in Australia with some really good people, and we enjoyed some freedoms and we had some great community. And it was just another really good day in my life.
Yeah.
From the moment I woke up until right now, it's been a cracking day.
Yeah.
I don't think the problems that Temora face are insurmountable. I think leadership can change fairly quickly, and I think a change of direction in leadership or thought or at the top, I honestly believe that the majority of people associated with, say, Temora Shire Council turn up every day and work really hard and give it their best and do a great job.
Oh, for sure.
I just believe that Temora Shire Council, in a couple of really key areas, instead of being open and transparent and accountable to the people, they want to be secretive.
Yeah.
Instead of addressing some of the hard questions, they want to flog the whistleblower. They want to punish the person who's actually highlighting the issues.
The issues, yeah, the challenges.
You know what I mean? And that's so. When you've got an organisation that want to do that, if you could just get a change in direction and they were to embrace these issues and actually deal with them.
Yeah, front and foremost, and go, right, hang on, here's what's been going on.
In a sensible, open and transparent way, then you really could change the direction in a short period of time. I've seen it occur at community organisations. I've seen it occur at footy clubs. I've seen footy clubs that were an absolute rabble have some change at the higher level.
Yep.
All the people below that are still working really hard, but if you can actually just provide some good leadership and direct them sensibly.
Yeah.
And actually
and if you can do that with a degree of forthright.
Well, openness. The only way that you bring people along on the trip is to include them in the decision-making process and include them in the trip.
In recent times, and it's not political, but regarding cars.
Yes.
We've had a couple in the last month, and it does my head in, right? Because I'm not a mechanic's backside, right?
Yes.
We've got to trust mechanics that are doing the best job they can, and I don't think they're doing anything untoward, but things get missed and whatever. As a location, we're doing 100 cars are going out on the road a month. We've had a couple in the last month, cheaper cars. Cheap's all a matter of perspective, of course. But, when you're talking cars under 15 grand, the risks are obviously higher if they're having problems. Now, we send all cars go off to either an off-site mechanic or an on-site mechanic, depending on brand. They gone over with all roadworthies, all that sort of things. The percentage of possibility of there being a problem is far higher on anything under 15 grand. 10 years ago, 15 grand would get you a pretty good car. that 15 grand now gets your car that's worth about 30 grand. You know, that's sort of where it's the market's moved. Now I've had two. One was somebody I consider a friend, and I've had to kind of go, shit, right, we're going to try and figure this out. We're going to solve this problem. Fortunately, I can kind of double over as a bit of an insurance policy for people. I've got the boss's ears. I can go, oi, we're not going to have this problem, or we're going to solve it the best way we can. The bosses or the current bosses have been phenomenal at trying to fix problems that inevitably happen, and real transparent, real accessible. I'll answer the phone, so, you know, might take a day or two, whatever, you know, like time's time.
They don't wipe their hands and run away and pretend that they...
Yes, that's the whole thing.
Yeah, they don't.
You know, I might be a day late getting back to you. That just means I've had 50 phone calls in other arenas. But I'm, you know, yeah, mate, I'll get back to you shortly. I'm not fobbing you off. We had a nana. I assume she's a nana because her grandson came in. Grandson's a mechanic. He came in, so she reached out to buy a car. Now the car passed its initial pink slip a couple of months ago. But when she came in to buy the car, I sent it back to the mechanics. I said, I want you to go over this car again. Well, that's what part of what we do as a process.
Yeah.
Go over this car again. Now, one of the mechanics picked up a problem that wasn't picked up in the first thing. So I've got this lady, and she's elderly, you know. And she said, "Can I send my grandson down to have a look at it?" Yeah, look, sure. No worries. Down at the service department. He went and had a look at it. From all initial views, looked great, but this mechanic picked up a problem.
Not
our mechanic. Our mechanic picked up a problem. Not the grandson. The grandson didn't pick up a problem either.
Yeah, so he's a mechanic as well.
He's a mechanic. Yeah. So he's going down there to look after Nana's best interests, and
good on him.
I'm happy and I'm transparent. Go on down, have a look, go over it, no problem at all. I'm all for it. Anyway, so he's given it the all clear, but one of our mechanics has found something that he's not happy with. 13 grand for this car. Again, 13 grand's a lot of money for some people. But in the car industry at the moment, 13 grand puts you right at sort of, I guess, the bottom levels of what you're getting for your money, which I don't control the market, just is what it is. Now, she rang me up and she was very stressed. So, darling, look, I'm not giving you the runaround. I'm waiting for a full diagnostic from these mechanics. Well, what's wrong? I don't know. I'm not a mechanic.
Yeah.
You know, I can change the oil, I can change a tire, or I can do some pretty basic stuff. Not a mechanic. I'm trying to get you all the info, but we're not going to leave you high and dry. And I guess she'd put her money on the table day one. She walked in with a check. I want to buy this car. Shit, okay, cool. We've got to send it off. We've got to make sure it's right for you. So now we're in the process of, you know, she's a bit upset. I spoke to my bosses. So we need to sort this lady out. We're not going to sell her a piece of shit. It's not happening. We'll wind it back. And if we've got to put her in a different car, or if we've got to, you know, give her her money back, we're doing something. What we're not doing is saying, well, you've already bought the car, take it, it's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
That's not happening. Now, again, past all mechanical, it's quite a nice looking car, but as we all know, they can look good and have problems. So what we've ended up is the boss, he's gone over and spoken to the head of the mechanics. They've gone through it together. Turns out it could be a 6-month wait on this car to either solve the problem or work out that it's a warranty problem or whatever. So for this lady, we've basically said, look, these are your options.
Yeah.
Give you your money back.
Yeah.
Then you can go hunting for another car. 2, you already like Dean. Dean's worked his ass off for you to get into this one. Give him a couple of days to find you an alternative.
Yes.
And we'll make that work. 3, you know, you can be really, really cranky. We can wait for 3 months. Yeah. You're going to get shitty. What do you want to do? Yeah. You know, she's decided to pick another car. I found her another one in the price bracket she could afford. Its grandson came and test drove it this morning, the mechanic. Now he's out on the road there. He's come back. He goes, look, as far as I'm concerned, it's going to be perfect for us. As far as she's concerned, it's going to work. Still needs to get that next green light, which will be the first thing that happens on Monday. But the point being, relative to what we're talking about, was we didn't hide it.
No.
We didn't go, oh, look, shit, which I have a suspicion that people in this industry have been known to do. You know, the industry's not well thought of. And I get in trouble for probably being a little bit too blunt and honest. People go, I don't know anything about cars. And I go, me either. You know, but this lady has a lot of faith now that we're going to work through it with her. We're not going to rip her off. We're not going to, you know, you're out.
We're going to take her money and then hold a car for 6 months.
No.
That almost hamstrings her from any
progress,
because she's doesn't sound like this sort of individual who's got money for 2 deposits.
No.
So if you can't buy one to drive around in the meantime.
Absolutely not. And there's no way in the world, particularly with me being the me that I am with the public persona that I have, I can't be down there rattling cars off aiming for 100 a month and then have 10 of them come back with problems and going, you're an asshole.
Yes.
People are a little bit more understanding, Temora Shire Council, if you're listening, if you're fairly transparent with them. Look, the car you bought was pretty cheap. Not going to lie. Oh, it was a lot of money for you. I know that. And I don't want to downplay that it was a low amount of money for them, but the risks are higher in that price bracket for problems. I'm not going anywhere.
But the happy part of this whole story is there's a problem in that vehicle and it's being picked up and you haven't been lumbered with it.
I haven't been lumbered with it. I'm not sending you home with a shit box that's not quite what it should be. And that's, I get a lot of satisfaction for that. I could probably get that lady to answer the phone now and think, you know, she's so happy it's not funny, because she did. And the first thing she said to me, I'm not going to get ripped off here. I said, no, because I treat you like I wouldn't let anyone do that to my auntie.
Yeah.
Wouldn't let anyone do it to my mum.
Yeah.
I wouldn't let anyone do it to 80% of the people who watch this program and in and around.
Yeah.
It's the same principle. Is you need that dignity of being looked after. You haven't done anything wrong.
No, when
something hasn't gone right.
Yeah, this is a transaction, and you, in good faith, want to buy a car that's at a level of reliability,
functionality relative to what you pay. And if you pay in this market to anything under realistically 15 grand, if you get 2 years out of it, depending on the amount of Ks you're doing, you're really quite lucky. Without problems. Little problems are going to happen. They're the cars that are in the 150, 200,000 kilometre range. They're 2013, 2014, 2008. You know, like,
I've got cars with 4
in
front of them.
Absolutely.
And I'll be driving along the road.
Pardon me.
There'll be a noise or something, and I'll think I'll have to have that attended to. And, you know, I'll go and get it serviced and we'll deal with it. And then the trade-off, of course, is that I haven't got $500 or $600 a week or a couple of grand a month repayments on these vehicles, so I can afford to spend a little bit of money.
I gotta go and do a little bit of servicing, or I can go and do a little bit of whatevering, and you know,
and the car suits my needs and my usage requirements, and I'm putting them into a service sort of environment whereby I couldn't really justify putting a brand new vehicle in.
Yes.
So yeah, they might be used for off-road work, or they might be used for other applications. And I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's like, and you're no different in your business. You're going to tell people, you're going to give them a quote, you're going to do the best work you can do for them relative to what you say you're going to do, and your customers will keep coming back.
And if we make a mistake, it's like we've got a process. There's always a paper trail, and you can see where the mistakes get made.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's easy.
Yep.
It's pretty easy to see where the mistakes get made. And if it's our mistake, we fix it straight away.
Yep.
Sometimes even if it's their mistake that we haven't picked up,
yes,
we'll fix it.
Yep.
Just as a matter of, it's easier just to fix that and have a good experience for the individual than having someone running around sticking knives in you and making up bullshit. Unlike some of the interactions I've had in the last few years with Temora Shire Council and
other entities.
Yeah, and just the negativity and that comes from this whole lack of accountability and transparency and ownership, and just the inability for people to sit down at the start of a problem. Like, problems always start small.
Yeah.
And then it's how people deal with them that actually determine how big they're going to get.
Absolutely.
And
here's a problem with the car. Okay,
yes.
before I contact the customer, I'm going to send it off to the mechanics first, because it could be a really simple thing. We also had a guy who showed up in a recently purchased $100,000 patrol the other day.
Yep.
And he was struggling to make it go fast, and he couldn't get any whatever. And he's, you know, and I'm, what are you talking about, mate? These patrols are phenomenal. How in the blue hell are you not getting all the performance out of it you could possibly want? And it was a silly mistake on his behalf. But when I went and had a look at the car, he had it in 4 low. So he's trying to drive around in 4 low. And he'd obviously been playing with his new car and buttons and twists and turns and knobs. And the patrols are really, really simplified. But old mate had it in 4 low, and he's driving around Wagga in 4 low, and he couldn't work out why it was screaming its guts out and having a horrible time.
But if he had got on the side of a hill and dragged all his mates, he would have got to the top of the hill.
Oh, top of Everest, mate. Top of Everest. But little things like that, you're talking little problems versus big problems versus dealing with them. Same sort of reflection in any business. When there's a small problem, you can jump on them really quick. Yeah. Right. First things first, get that car to the mechanic. Find the termites in your home. I found a couple. Let's see how far this goes and what we can do to stop it. What's the process?
Yeah.
How do we get there? Sign problems, whatever. Yeah. Councils who have done some dodgy shit, wind it back. Kids who tell lies.
Well, this is the whole thing. When you start trying to fix lies or fix fuck-ups with cover-ups,
yep,
it just...
Well, that's exactly it, and obviously I've got 12-year-old in my house, mate, never lie to dad. And if you do lie to dad, you better wind it back real quick before it becomes a problem you can't contain.
Yes.
Right? Because I can show, I can usually step in and solve any problem you've got based on, but you got to be able to, okay, I've done something stupid.
But that's the first step, isn't it? Once you acknowledge you've done something stupid, then all of a sudden it's easy. The rest of it's so easy. The hardest thing is to say, I've stuffed up.
Oh, geez, I'm a world-class champion at that.
Yeah, but the hardest thing for anyone to say is, look, I've put my hand up, I stuffed up. As soon as you do that, the rest of it's easy because everyone goes, oh, I'll help you because you've acknowledged the problem and you own it.
You've owned your shit. You're 80% there.
Yes.
The
whole thing generally takes care of itself because people are only too willing to help someone who acknowledges, oh, look, I stuffed that up.
Particularly if they sort of, when you see the politicians on TV, oh, yes, I sincerely apologise. And no, you're only doing that to keep your job.
Oh, they don't fix anything.
They don't fix anything, they don't do anything.
I'll give you the best example. A couple of meetings ago at Temora Shire Council, I raised a point of order. The mayor...
You be careful,
the mayor spoke over the top of me and refused to hear the point of order. At the next meeting, the mayor has made a public apology for speaking over the top of me and making an assumption as to the subject matter that I wanted to raise. But the mayor hasn't addressed the point of order.
Yes.
So...
complete waste of time.
The apology is meaningless.
Yes.
You've done nothing. All you've done is actually exacerbate the problem because you haven't dealt with the point of order.
And attempted to cover your butt in the process by saying, well, I apologised.
I apologise like a politician.
Yes, of course.
I apologise, but I refuse to actually address the problem.
No, don't
No, we don't want to talk about the problem. We'll just, I apologise. The problem still exists, but we're not going to talk about that.
Yes, you just talk about the fact that I apologise. It's very important.
Because I apologise, and that person, because I haven't fixed their problem, has got no reason to feel aggrieved.
I said I'm sorry for it. Yeah.
I said I'm sorry. I haven't done nothing to fix it.
Yeah.
Like, what a load of absolute horse
There's
shit.
owning your shit and there's being full of shit as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, mate. This is the whole thing. And the whole... Look, the point of order, believe it or not, related to a report that was contained within the confidential section of that meeting's minutes. And it was being hidden again from the community. And the point of order was going to be about the legitimacy of having it in the confidential section, because when you read the actual part of the act that deals with what can be in confidential, it didn't tick the boxes.
Yeah, righto.
So, look, I'm over it. I haven't got time. I can't be bothered.
Yeah, out of all the fish that need frying, that's probably not the top of the list.
No, but what I did do was I can't be bothered. This is ridiculous. So I went and filled out a formal access application under the Government Information Public Access Act 2000.
You're all mate, the Gipper Act, yeah.
And I used some of my councillor stipend to pay for the application. I took my time out of my day to fill the form out, and I've put it in. And we're going to get to the point where I believe that council are going to have zero ability to resist public release of the document.
Yep.
Ergo, this document that was in the confidential part of the council meeting will now be in the public.
Pardon me.
And anyone can access it, and we can discuss it openly.
Yep.
Now, the decision, I'll give you a date for the decision on that matter.
Yep.
So the decision for that matter is Wednesday, the 13th of August.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll look forward to that.
So next Wednesday, we'll know.
So by Thursday night Spin Doctors episode, we'll
either have that report in our hands,
or we'll know they're hiding it.
Or we'll know that they're not going to give it to us and give it to me, and which is, look, it's give it to us because under the Government Information Public Access Act, they can't put any constraints on the document as they release it. They can't say there's no conditions.
Yeah.
So the release
you're only allowed to look at it, Councillor, in the presence of the mayor.
No, the release is unconditional. So when I say they give it to me, they give it to us. They give it to everyone, and anyone can access it.
Yeah, as they should.
Which is a beautiful thing.
I agree.
So this, and again, I believe it's ill-considered to have matters in confidential that don't warrant
confidential.
They don't tick the boxes. It shouldn't have been in confidential. That was the point of order. That was the part I wanted to discuss. I never even got the opportunity to even discuss the relevance of all of these stuff. The man just rode over the top of me, said, "We're not discussing it. We've got advice from the OLG. You shut up. We're going into confidential." Bye. Well, okay. The Government Information Public Access Act will release this document, and we're going to talk about it to the world at large.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, something that we could have dealt with fairly simply in a council meeting that, only the people that were present there would have really been aware of, is going to become a big issue. This matter it'll go on the log of Government Information Public Access Act requests.
Yep.
It'll be recorded there. All of a sudden, this thing's gone from being that big to that big.
Yeah.
A bit like what we said before. Deal with it early, deal with it openly, deal with it with transparency and with honesty.
And the problem doesn't become anywhere near
the problem's that big.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, this is going to be one of those ones where I'm going to hold this document out to public scrutiny, and I'm going to make comment regarding the reasons of it.
Yep.
And people are going to make their own opinion, but I don't believe it's going to be very flattering to the motives of Temora Shire Council to have that document in confidential.
Confidential, yeah. Why are you trying to hide this document?
Yeah. So now, why do I have to do that? Because we've got this environment, this culture of secrecy, of cover up, of we're more important than anyone else, and we're special, and everybody else needs to just do. We know what's best for them. Yes, and we don't need to tell them anything, and we'll just make the decisions, and they don't need to know what we're doing. Yes, we're above. I've always found the alternative is you tell everyone the facts, and you say these are the decisions we're making, and if you want to partake in any of the decision-making process, please join us at the council. Come on down. Yeah. Yep. No, look, I do it all the time. I'm quite happy to people go, you overshare. Well, maybe I do, but nobody's going to go, oh, you're treating, lying and hiding shit from us. Some people go, oh, you're a bit of an arsehole. I don't like what you're saying, but, that is what it is. Now, Fred Ferner from out Coolman Way. Nothing transparent about any council anymore, but there is ways of making the community aware of issues and concerns. 100%, Fred, and I guess that's how this show came about. It sprung from the almighty Pterodactyl FM. Yeah, 10 FM. And some of the local community radio station. We'll give them a plug. 10 FM. Temora Community Radio. Are they still going? Yes. Well, they are. Would you believe they just got a grant the other day to renovate the studios? Did they? Yeah, right. Who organised that? I don't know, but I hope they've got some air freshener. It's a bit wild down there. It is it smells like old men. Look, I knew full well. I mean, That smells like old men and cover-ups.
That program, that whole little experience was interesting, right? Now, I learned a few technical skills down there. I learned how they drive and work. And, in case you haven't noticed, ladies and gentlemen, I'm currently in the process of working out how to build a newsletter for this community. I'm working out how to create merchandise. I'm working out how to do AI stuff. I've had a song.
But also what you're doing is, we got barred, or you got barred.
Well, I was going to get to that point.
Yeah, you got barred on the radio.
Yes.
On a Thursday, and we went live to the world at large. A week later.
I'd run in the federal election. A few people have worked out that when I want to be, I can be a solid talker. I can, put sentences together.
I don't believe
I can. Look, all bullshit aside, right, and not just the sales stuff. I've debated the former deputy prime minister, and I'll tell you what. At the end of it, I had people coming up going, "My God, who taught you how to talk like that, how to debate like that, how to put forward your points like that? You're amazing." I got pinged by this bloke, and I didn't know who he was. Right? I think the video's still somewhere on the Farmers Federation of Australia or something, unless Michael's had it banned because he got towelled up. And again, I'm not a professional public speaker. I'm a guy who was a chef. I was a reasonable cyclist as a teenager, half an athlete, British labourer for 6 months. Chefed around the world a bit. I'm not a public speaker, right? Officially.
No, you're not. From the legal profession, you haven't been.
That's it. I'm not a politician for 20 years or anything like that, right? I got reasonably articulate, and I used to say to all the political candidates that I ended up coaching for quite a period of time, I actually learned most of it from wrestling, watching those guys talk, because they're phenomenal at it. That was how I learned, ladies and gentlemen. There was no Toastmasters or anything like that. Yeah, all that shit. You watch those guys talk off the cuff about stuff, and you go, shit, they're brilliant at it. There's an absolute, and you always watch the guys that get paid the highest in that space are the ones who talk the best. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I finished this debate, and there was all the candidates there, and A, B, and C, and a couple got up, looked a bit confused, and a couple of you really, why are you here? Next to me, one over, is the former, at the time, Deputy Prime Minister of Australia, who's been a politician for the best part of his whole career. The other part was in media. So he should be able to put sentences together.
You'd think so.
You'd reckon, right? And then there's little old bug and me sitting in the corner there, and I tell you what, smash. Not blow my own horn, I smashed them.
Yep.
There was certainly, you could argue that you liked the Greens argument better if you're that way inclined. But as far as dominating the room, I was on A game.
Well, certainly getting your point across.
It was, I was on A game. It was good. People coming up to me afterwards. This one bloke though, and he come up to me, grinning like a Cheshire cat. This fellow, I couldn't have picked him out of the police. I wouldn't know him today if he walked up to me. He's pointed at me and he goes, "You, I need to talk to you." All right, fuck, here we go. When you're in the political space, anybody comes up to you half going, are you going to hug me or are you going to spit on me? That was phenomenal. Who taught you to speak like that? By the way, what have you got in your pocket? Huh? What are you fucking talking about, mate? And he goes, and I didn't pay any attention to it, but every time I got up, I have the microphone in hand. My hand would be in my pocket. If my microphone was in that hand would be in the pocket. I hadn't even thought about it. No formal training, just a guy. He goes, that's the only flaw you've got in your public speaking. You were phenomenal. Like, mate, who are you? I'm the president of Toastmasters, Wagga, New South Wales, wherever the hell he was from.
Yep.
And that was just great. And I was like, wow, huge compliment. Huge compliment. And I'm on a stage with the Deputy Prime Minister of Australia. For the people who are silly enough to say things like Dean punches down on people, no, I punch up, always up.
Yeah.
But it was a phenomenal experience, and to work out that that's come without any formal training, now that's pretty good. Now, we look at some of these things where you're in the field with our current mayor, who has spent the best part of 15 to 20 years and his entire life dedicated to wanting to be the mayor of tomorrow.
He got elected as a councillor, I think, in 2000, so he's 25 years as a councillor. Well, I think he got elected as mayor in 2012, so he's 13 years as mayor.
And he should well know how to speak publicly. You're a sign writer who was entered the political space on principle, as did I. Of
But he won't debate me.
course he won't. We've asked him.
No, I've asked him.
We've offered him the radio show.
I've offered him prior to the first election. I've offered him prior to the second election. The offer stands. It's open today.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, when this all occurred, of course, I've got a couple of phone calls going tomorrow radio. We've got a spot where you want to do. We'll open up the door for you. I haven't got any time. I'm going to find time for this caper, yeah? All right, I'll tell you what I'll do. Thursday night, this time to this time. I'll block it off.
Yeah.
That's it. Not doing any more, not doing any less. I haven't got time to be doing bake sales and bullshit.
Yeah.
But there's a couple
I'm not going to vacuum the studio. I'm not going to paint them.
I'm going to walk in, I'm going to do my thing, and I'm going to go out. The rules are simple. I'm going to talk about what I want when I want. I'm not going to be edited or censored by anybody ever. And I'll, within reason, work within that framework sort of thing. And they came back with a couple of things. Can't play Michael Jackson music. Apparently he's still banned from the radio.
It was really good music, apart from his private life.
Apart from his strange private
life, music life was
relative to half the queer lunatics running around fucking Sam Smith and the rest of them. I don't think Jacko was any more weird than most of these Muppets. But anyway, hey, what do I know? Yes. But that was one of the rules. You're not allowed to play Michael Jackson music.
That's a bit sad, really.
Which I bet half of tomorrow didn't know that was blacklisted, but that's apparently a thing. They outright said we don't want to play any music with swearing in it unless it's after a certain time, and there was a certain rule that I said, look, I'll just do my best not to bother. Cool. I don't need to be playing gangster rap. I'm busy trying to get in people's heads with a bit of knowledge and a bit of understanding or whatever. And obviously for me not to be doing any swearing. And sometimes that's hard. Other times it's all right. And I adhered to all that. So I did pretty well. They sent the president at the time down to babysit me for the first, 3 or 4 months. I suspect it was the most tuned into show specifically. I'm not saying, I'm sure there are more listeners throughout the day when everybody's at the radio on at work to listen to their little ad or whatever.
Oh, yeah, because they're at work and they're listening to the radio.
They're at work and the radio's on, but
when they had a free choice.
I would say that was the most specifically listened to radio show in the area from an element who were going, no, this bastard, how come? And then there would have been we really like this. I wish more people would talk like it. And then obviously I started, and I put it out every week. Anybody from local council would like to come down, it's more than welcome. Say your piece, do your thing. You were the only one who ever showed up. And then you showed up and we started discussing some topics. A few cans of worms, if you will, started to emerge.
There were still some positive things, John. This is the thing I can't understand. People paint me as the devil. I'm not the devil.
Well, apparently I'm your acolyte or something. So
yeah.
I'm the devil's acolyte.
I've lived in this joint for 25 years, and honestly, I've done way more good than I've ever done harm.
Yeah.
And I believe that even trying to bring this stuff to light is doing good.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I really just resent the whole connotation that's thrown my way. And the matters that we spoke about were matters that needed to be spoken about. Like we did talk about a lot of positive things. There was a lot of things that we spoke about, there's general stuff that people don't know.
Yep.
And that's my job, is to bring the community on board. Because like I've said, the only way you get good governance is to include the community in the process and let them know what's going on. Let them know what you're doing. Let them know why you're doing it. And then give them an opportunity to say whether they like it or not.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't like it, ask them why and have a conversation with them. You know what I mean? And then you can say, well, this is why we're doing it. Why don't you like it? Okay, well, what would you suggest? And if the suggestion actually makes sense, I'm only too happy to take it on board.
Sure.
If the suggestion isn't workable or whatever, well, surely that other individual can take it on board and we can agree to disagree.
Yes.
But let's have the conversation. Let's have the openness. Let's have this is what we're trying to do. But a lot of the things we spoke about on that show, like there was a couple of contentious things that seemed to ruffle some feathers, but a lot of the stuff was very benign.
No, yeah. No, I didn't think we were talking about anything that out there.
We did start to talk about this because, honestly, it's been a journey of discovery because, first and foremost, the whole narrative was that, and we'll get to probably the biggest issue that actually brought it to all ahead was the contract with Mr. Lavelle.
Yeah, well, from your perspective, that was what fired up the opposition for sure.
But from your perspective, on the radio show, that was the key issue that I could see that they reacted to.
Yes, yes.
That when they said to you that you couldn't have me on as a guest.
Yes.
So they told you,
and you're allowed to talk about local issues.
Yeah. So I'm a locally elected councillor, and I can't talk on the community radio, and you're a volunteer presenter on community radio, and you can't talk about community issues. And that's about the point in time where you go, wow, you people are just so. I don't want to say words that
I can think of a few
won't go across.
And then you give me some of the most appallingly worded letters of demand you've ever seen in your life.
The only thing they could have done worse would have been write them in crayon, because the intent behind them and the execution was childlike.
Well, the irony of all that was there was a previous little issue that went on within that particular radio station where the same Muppets that sent me the letter that is still on my Facebook page somewhere, because I don't delete shit. I don't have to. I stand by everything I say, and if I eventually go, I've changed my position on this. I'll go, previously when I posted this is my new take on said thing. When that character had a bit of an issue legally and was very, very stressed and concerned and mentioned it to me, I actually did put him in touch with my personal lawyer. So if you're looking for lawyers, Solve Lawyers, they are, big plug. They're not a sponsor of the show, but by Christ, they've been good to me over the years. Yeah. Mate, give him a call, ask him your position. I think my lawyer told him, don't worry too much about it. It sounds like bullshit to me. But then all of a sudden you try and bung that silly nonsense on, and then send me another letter to tell me that I'm not allowed to have his original shit letter in grey on my Facebook page. Yeah. He hasn't authorised me. Don't send me shit if you don't want me to put. What are you talking about?
What are you telling me?
Yeah,
You've sent me a threatening letter, and I've shown the world.
Well, I've shown the world. What are you afraid of?
Yeah.
You know your letter was shit. Yeah. You know your stance was shit.
Get back under your rock.
I'm not afraid of any of you people and anything you're gonna roll out at me. I know it's probably a personal characteristic flaw that I have, but it was kind of funny in hindsight. And then I got a letter saying,
if you're going to send a threatening letter to someone that is that you can't stand to have,
you can't stand by.
You can't stand to have publicly shared. Well,
don't send it.
Absolutely.
There's.
If I send a letter to someone that's got some legal basis to it, and I feel there's a position or something that
I have something that I'm standing by and for, I will absolutely.
I want it heard in court at some point in time, and I'm quite happy to have that known by the world.
Yep.
And this is my position, and this is my reasons.
Yep.
So this idea that this threatening letter that was sent to you can't be published.
Oh, look, and I'll tell you, I obviously cracked up laughing. I think I sent you a copy. I think I sent a few other people a copy. And then I got this follow-up letter of, by whatever time on whatever date, you must have responded with, I don't know, whatever it was. So I, of course, waited until a day later, because who the hell do you think you are to give me deadlines? Like, bugger off. And then I responded in kind. Of course, I posted my full response because I'm transparent. I got nothing to hide. I told them to bash it up their ass. Anyway, I was showing up at the station on whatever night, and it was like, I don't know, 4 or 5 of these people who, whatever. I won't rag them off too much, but, it was like a museum. And demand for the key and some sort of panic about we're going to have to change the locks. What are we going to dead end and change the locks for? Why waste that money as well? I'm not going to go down and break into your stupid radio station. I don't care. And then I rang Councillor Irvine. I said, Councillor, you better come up with the name of a new program. What do you mean? This is what's going on. This is how it's going to be, and we're going to be running a show every Thursday night. How? I'll show you. We'll have it up and running in no time. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Here we are.
And we've cobbled it together. And one of the most ridiculous parts of all of this is here we are doing weekly broadcasts to a level that everyone can hear us, everyone can see us. It doesn't break down. Here we are tonight. No glitches.
Oh, it breaks down when you do it at my house because the internet's so shit.
Yeah,
but yeah,
but tomorrow show council can't manage
Can't
to live stream their meetings.
No, well, there's secrets that people aren't allowed to know.
Well,
and it's funny, you'll even remember going into the council election. The comment section in here got pretty heated, got pretty wild. And I had plenty of people calling me names, nasty things. I still put it up there, not a problem at all. No problem. I have no issues whatsoever.
If someone was to comment a nasty comment tonight and put it up there,
I'll show it as long as they can stand by it with their name.
They have to sign it.
Absolutely. If you're going to just jump on there on some anonymous platform and call me names, well, you're a coward.
Yeah.
And I've got no time or respect for you whatsoever. But if you think I'm the world's biggest asshole and you want to jump on there in the comment section and declare me so, I'll put it on the screen. Quite happily, you'll get, a couple of minutes. I actually tend to leave those ones up a bit longer just to prove the point.
Yeah.
Depending on what people say, I'll leave it up for a little while where the conversation's up to. But look, if there's anybody out there watching, and I know there is, because I think there was about 115 or 120 people have watched are currently logging in and out at various stages so far this evening, which is interesting for an impromptu Saturday night beers with the boys. I think it's 100 and I have these stats, ladies and gentlemen. 135 people thus far have tuned into this evening's festivities. Which is kind of cool. Well, 141, I just jumped up. So, but 140 odd people are sitting here right now looking at this. Normally, everyone's used to the Thursday night thing. If you've got, I'm glad Gwen's interacting and Fred, and if you want to ask me for a controversial opinion, it's always good fun to do that. Night like tonight would be the way to go about it. Let's be controversial, but
Let's divert onto the
and this business of having chips is a bad idea because I love Doritos.
Yeah, and I don't mind beer.
Yeah, beer's all right too. Beer, you can sort of do. These things are crunchy and they taste really good, and I'm fat enough.
Gareth Ward,
fuck me. Why do we want to go down that path? Well, we can.
Well, the New South Wales Parliament found themselves in some sort of a quandary because apparently the rules that apply are about 100-year-old. And there was a situation whereby Gareth Ward, who's
he was a Liberal MP, and after this stuff all originally blew up, the Liberal Party distanced themselves from him or whatever he went on. He went on, decided to be an independent. He should have been.
Yeah.
Well, look, I run on two sides of that coin.
So in July of this year, Gareth Ward, who was a sitting member for Kiama, Ward was found guilty in July of. This is off The Guardian,
which is the most anti-Liberal Party conservative media outlet in Australia. Yeah. So I like to do that. So the opposite. Yeah. You sort of see the most intense view, I guess.
So he was found guilty in July of sexually abusing two young men in 2013 and 2015. He's appealing against the convictions. And it just goes, he's due to be sentenced next month. Now, he's the current sitting
member of Kiama.
Yes. The resignation marks the end of a difficult chapter for the New South Wales Parliament in 2021. Ward left the Liberal and moved to the crossbench, blah, blah, blah. So he moved to the crossbench after identifying himself as a state MP under investigation by the Child Abuse and Sex Crime Squad. The most extraordinary part is in August 22, Ward was committed to stand trial, but voters in Kiama re-elected him in March 2023.
I was baffled. I was stunned. But here's the thing with politics is they get re-elected based on name recognition.
Yes.
People vote on name recognition. It doesn't matter if you bump the goat.
Yes.
They don't know. They go, oh, who's that guy? What does he sound familiar? Because while the people in the political space think they're fucking celebrities,
yes, what
they are actually is just names on a placard, and you've got 3/4 of the Australian population who go, got to do this shit again.
Yeah.
And then they go in there and I don't know who that is. I've never heard of that. I've heard of that person. 1, 2, 3, whatever, whatever the circumstance is. And this is how this shit happens. Now, he was a member of the Liberal Party. My lawyer, who I mentioned earlier before, Kyle, he actually was the vice president of the Liberal Party in New South Wales. He was kicked out with a life ban based on being too conservative. Now, for many people in certainly this area and district, they like to identify as conservatives when it suits. Most of them are kind of full of shit, to be fair. Like, I'm not a conservative, I don't claim to be, but I'm probably more right-leaning than left-leaning. But this guy is obviously a gay bloke, which is fine.
Maybe not.
But no, certainly gay enough to be having sex with men. So, there's a certain amount of gay there, I guess, based on current definitions.
Well, no, he may well be bisexual. There's
He could be a monkey's uncle for all we know, with all the definitions rolled out today. But
the big issue was he sought an ex-party injunction on Monday night to prevent the Parliament from expelling him.
Yes.
Because he's a convicted felon.
Yeah.
But the Court of Appeal lifted the injunction on Thursday, clearing the way for Parliament to force him out on Friday. So that was going to happen at 10:30 a.m. with the support of both Labor and the opposition. But he resigned by letter at about 9 a.m. Friday. So he sort of beat the... So he resigned instead of getting sacked.
Yeah.
The absolute legal ramifications of this whole thing are just unbelievable.
Oh.
Constitutionally, this was going to be a crisis, and it still is to some extent. And there are still political elements of it at play.
Oh, there's going to be political elements on it from go to way. This thing will be political till he's either in jail or on an island somewhere hiding.
They're going to have a by-election in the seat.
Of course. They have to now, yep.
And I would, knowing that the current New South Wales Labor government are running on a very slim
margin.
They will be going
millions of dollars to try and win this seat.
Yes. So my greatest hope would be that an independent could
take the seat
in Kiama.
I'm trying to think back to that election when Ward got up again. Who was actually in the mix in that electorate? Who was possibly somebody I could endorse and support?
No.
And I'm not real sure off the top of my head who ran in that election. It is always hard because, look, how Gareth Ward got re-elected, I know it's been a very dubious area down that way. It's had some crossover with I think in the Eden Monero, so they had Mike Kelly, then it went Kirsty McBain, and then it's been they've done a lot of tossing and turning and who's what, where, why, and when. They're funny areas. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find who was in the mix back then.
Yeah. Gareth Wood, Caitlin McKinney.
So we had...
Oh, here we go. Melanie Gibbons, Liberal Party. Sustainable Australia. Others doesn't look really inspiring to me.
Well, it looks like if it's not Gareth, but even Liberal Party didn't rate. Nationals have got no one down there
at the moment. Yeah, I'd say look, Labor will throw the kitchen sink at it. They'll try and take that seat, and I can't see why they wouldn't. I was baffled that Ward got in when that happened, just knowing the people that I know in that periphery at the time, who were going, he has no business being anywhere near the joint. He's a disaster. But they keep electing him. People keep electing him. And the problem with all this political stuff is the type of people who are desperate to be involved in it
are the worst people.
The worst people in the world.
The people don't want that.
Yeah. Have you ever watched the Vikings, the TV series? The part there where he's talking to his son about it, about what do you see? I see power. And the worst is that it attracts it corrupts the best and attracts the worst. And, it's only those who are willing to lower themselves enough to pick up power, and there's an element of that. There's, how far are you willing to sell yourself to get into those positions? And, what are you willing to do?
That was a big constitutional crisis that faced New South Wales recently. So that'll be interesting to see it unfold. One thing that caught my eye
Yeah.
And it hasn't received much. I'm just going to do a quick
Yeah, for sure.
search.
Do it. Oh, over the 150 for the night councillor for a random Saturday night. That's interesting.
This is a
Michael Candor. I'd be a great PM and you'd know it. Look, look. Why don't you go down and run in that seat of was it Kiama?
Yeah.
And also, I can put a bit of a crew behind you, Mickey, and you can have a run for sure.
Now we're getting done by a paywall here.
Oh, I love paywalls. They're the best. ICAC Parramatta. It's ICAC's are the biggest waste of money and time currently in their current circumstance on planet Earth. Yeah.
But on the 17th of July, we've got a headline here.
Port Macquarie, big fella. If you're up in Port Macquarie, mate, Mark Hornshaw is the fantastic councillor, top bloke. I've got full endorsement of Mark Hornshaw up in that electorate for whatever he decides to do, council, state, federal. Get behind him in any way you can.
Where's the follow up from this? So ICAC have been into the city of Parramatta, into the boardroom,
and seized devices.
Hours before a council meeting, ICAC raids city of Parramatta staff officers. Like, what is going on? This is a council.
How long ago was this?
Last month.
Yeah, right. Well, I didn't hear about this one either.
Yeah, it's real.
I must be flat out at the moment. There's a lot of things that I've been missing in this space lately. Yeah, right. I mean, they probably all should be in jail, to be fair, but
here we are. The Independent Commission Against Corruption has raided City of Parramatta council officers ahead of their council meeting. The raid is expected to have significant implications not only for the council staff involved, but also for elected officials who may have relied on advice or decisions now under investigation. It also raises questions about how such disruptions might impact upcoming decisions on urban planning, budget allocations, and strategic partnerships.
Do we know what they're being raided for?
No.
Well, that's very big headline.
It's a massive headline.
Where's the meat of the matter? The matter of the meat, the chunk, the flavour.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to find a date for this article. But no, that's a different one.
Officers took over the council staff's boardroom and seized. Oh, goodness.
Well, the Age have got something in for.
Maybe I might become an unofficial ICAC as well, and I'll start raiding council officers. That could be fun. Unbelievable.
Age is the same. It's all hidden behind a paywall.
All hidden behind the paywall for sure.
What about ICAC?
Well, surely they've got something on their website. You'd have to reckon, wouldn't you?
Current investigations. Let's look. The ICAC only discloses current investigations activity where there is a public interest for good.
Well, I reckon that'd have to be public interest the minute you pricks raid an entire council office. You know, I reckon that qualifies as the people probably should have some idea what's going on. That's a significant matter.
It's a big deal, isn't it?
I would think so. Like, I mean, look, the general public don't think it's a big deal, and most of them just sort of go, yeah, whatever, it's there, what are we going to do about it? But yeah, it is significant. I can't imagine these guys are loading up their guns and rolling into a bloody council office to sort of raid it and take it over without some sort of merit to some sort of argument of some sort of community value, you would think.
Here's a post from
Yeah,
criminal lawyer 3 weeks ago. So,
shit, we're not allowed to speak publicly about this issue.
well, this is on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Andrew Teat, criminal lawyer, trial advocate, accredited specialist in criminal law, divorce guide, blah, blah, blah. 3 weeks. The Independent Commission Against Corruption raided the City of Parramatta staff officers seized the mobile phones of several senior staff in the hours before a council meeting on Monday afternoon 3 weeks ago. Numerous sources with knowledge of the situation who were not allowed to speak publicly confirmed ICAC officers arrived at the third level of the council's Wentworth Street headquarters ahead of the regular July council meeting. So this is last month's meeting.
And it still baffles me that council chambers anywhere need fucking 3 floors. What are you on the 3rd floor, mate? Like, seriously? Send the bins out. How much, honestly? Just
Parramatta's Parramatta. It's a big joint.
Yeah, so what?
But
it's still running garbage trucks and mowing
it's
parks.
a multi-story building.
Of course it is.
It wouldn't be on one level. Nothing's on one level in Sydney anymore.
No, waste of time and money as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, apparently I'm a harsh judge, I'm told.
That's interesting, isn't it?
It is interesting, yes. Yes. But for it all to be secret squirrel business is even more interesting.
So we've also got the
He stood on the mayor's foot. That looks like a serious headline.
well, here's one. I live behind the paywall.
Of course it is. Yeah, was it
Without
creative accounting? No shit. They all do creative accounting.
Sydney Council boss urged creative accounting to find
25 million, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. And here we are in local government week. We've got ICAC rating Parramatta City Council. We've got a public inquiry into Liverpool City Council shenanigans. We've got North Sydney Council with their absolute debacle about the pool.
Oh, yes, we did speak about the pool.
It's just...
It's never ending, and that's what these councils are. It's what they will always be.
I cringe when they have something like local government week, and you think, wow, you're trying to put lipstick on a pig here.
They love it. They love it. And they'll get 20 people who are really, really excited about it all, and they'll, some kids colouring in fucking the mayor's, whatever.
Public speaking event.
Public speaking event. Your kids with crayons getting excited. Couple of, usually ladies who are, down having tea and scones at an event and loving it. And that's great. Like, I mean, I don't begrudge the people who like that sort of shit, but I'd rather you did it on somebody else's dollar. I know I'm a bit hard in that space, but just stop wasting my money on shit. I don't know if some of you would have seen my, I believe it was called a rant on Bookface this morning. I believe I declared Australia possibly the dumbest country on planet Earth, or certainly we must be in some sort of competition vying for the title. We're paying, councillor. Well, we're not. Well, we sort of are. Let's be fair. It's Melbourne, and it's going to be bankrupt in no time anyway. They're paying $300,000+ for machete bins.
Yeah.
300,000 for machete bins.
Yeah.
My kid's 12 and could build bins of significant capabilities, of a similar standard. If you look at the photos,
what's a machete? It's a bit of steel about that long with one edge that's sharp.
Yes, and they're usually a nice handle,
But you can make a handle out of anything, and you can find a piece of steel.
Yeah.
Now, this will sound, I don't want to sound like I'm inciting anything, but seriously, you could go and get a spring off an old truck at the wreckers, like a leaf spring, and you can get that leaf spring
Don't give
But you
anyone
can-
any ideas; they'll get excited.
But you can put an edge on that because the steel's a hard steel.
Yeah.
Well, it'll take an edge.
But
And you can make your own machete in about
we
2 hours.
we have a country currently.
But you can go down to the hardware store and you can buy a shovel. And in the absence of a machete, a shovel will be a fairly handy substitute. You can go and you can buy a what? What?
Anything.
A piece of iron for your
And
fence.
and $13 million worth they've spent on 40 or 50 of these fucking boxes.
Yeah. And that's
Ratepayers, taxpayers' money, with cameras above them. Photo ops for all these dickhead politicians and whatever wanker police they've got down. And I'll say it, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. Some police are great, some are dickheads. Fact of life. They're getting all these photo ops. They've cost the taxpayer $13 million to build some boxes that are no different to Vinnie's bins. What?
be more than that.
No, it's 13 million. That was the number they've released. So I mean, I'm sure somebody's in your backhand because there's no way in blue hell they could spend that much money on bins that look like the Vinnie's bins. Let's be fair. Go and get the old Vinnie's bins.
Yeah.
You like your recycling, you dickheads, go for it. Because apparently criminals who are thinking to themselves, fuck machete, I'm going to hack somebody up. Oh, hang on a minute. There's a bin over there. I'm going to rethink. I'm going to sit here and rethink my desire to go and hack that person up with said machete. And now that there's a safe place where I'm not going to be, I'll be identified. I'm going to go and put said machete into said bin because, fuck.
And you know yourself.
I've seen the error of my ways because the idiot PM, what do they call him, Premier, has made it safe for me to do so. The dumbest shit in planet Earth.
Well,
the same idiots.
But the people who are going to have a machete for personal protection or for nefarious deeds, if they got some sort of assurance that the people that they're scared of have handed their machetes in at the same time?
No.
Right.
No.
So if you're the sort of person that's toting a machete because you're fearing for your life,
yes,
or you want to have a bit of a go, how do you know
your opposition
hasn't down tools?
Yes, they are possibly thinking to themselves, now I've got you without a machete.
Well, if they can hack those cameras,
fuck,
I don't know. It just sounds absurd, doesn't it? The whole thing, and the whole idea that
Australia is, and look, I fly the flag where I can. I want to be a proud Australian, right? But we are obviously the dumbest fucks on planet Earth as a collective. We have some of the best natural resources in the world. We've got some of the highest power prices, right? I don't need a degree from a fucking hopeless university to tell me that doesn't add up. That's retarded. No, we've all the NAP plan results have rolled on out. The large majority of our children are barely proficient at reading, writing, and counting.
Yes.
But we're going to have whole weeks dedicated to smoke signals, welcome to countries, and whether boys can be girls or not if they change their fucking mind, or if you'd like to be a cat, that's all right too. Yeah. Don't worry about that counting shit. That's not important. That's not going to serve you in life. But if you can master the art of licking your own bottom and pruning your whiskers, all while fucking doing smoke signals and throwing boomerangs, you will have a wonderful life as a fucking useful adult. Mixed in with the rest of this bullshit, like the country's on its ass. It makes no sense. And then, of course, our idiot government with this commissioner, silly bitch, sooner as she's deported, the better. I don't think Trump would want her back, but, that's where she should be going. And if Albo had any balls, he'd be ringing Donald up and going, Donald, right, where you want us to take our refugees, you can fucking have this one back too.
So is she American?
She's a Yank. And apparently, with all this shit, we're supposed to, for the kids' safety, children's safety. Right, sounds good. Sounds lovely on the packet. Because the children now can't have social media accounts. Now they can still look up Pornhub. There's nothing in there that will stop them from looking up Pornhub. Nothing that will stop them playing Fortnite, where they go around shooting, killing, violently doing shit. But you can't have Facebook. Don't you watch anything on YouTube?
Don't.
Come on, kids. Don't you dare possibly read anything that we haven't endorsed. You know, you can watch an Arab root a goat on Pornhub or whatever the case may be. But for your safety, we can't have you on Facebook. You might see a Dean McRae post and you might sort of start questioning some things. Now,
it comes under the Australian Communications and Media Authority.
Well, they're the same donkeys that are in charge of the Tomorrow Radio, I believe.
Yeah.
So, and to be perfectly honest, they're not worth squirt at cat's piss, and I had my issues with them during the whole
meltdown there.
Well, during the what was that? The Voice to Parliament bullshit.
Yes.
When earlier before I was obviously dragged over the coals for having the audacity to have you on air, I arrived into the station there one day during that debacle of a thing, which the governments are going around anyway, and they're doing it themselves.
Yeah.
The people have said, no, we're going to do it anyway. Who do you think you are, you people? We know best. Again, these pricks. So I got into said radio station on whatever day during that shit show with a directive from that mob saying, we as an organisation have decided that it's in the best interest of the country, effectively, to support the Voice to Parliament, and all presenters will be expected to support said narrative.
Can you read that? Read that. Can I hear it, Trev?
Ready? You want me to do it?
Well, just read that headline, the first.
Julian Mangrant is Australia's e-safety commissioner. In this role, Julie leads the world's first government regulatory agency committed to keeping its citizens safer online. Oh yeah, we're world leaders in communist bullshit on the internet.
It's the world's first.
Yeah, lucky us.
Yeah.
And now, before we get too far in,
the commissioner's career began in Washington D.C., working in the U.S. Congress and the non-profit sector before taking on a role at Microsoft.
Julie was swanning around at Microsoft for 17 years, serving as one of the company's first and longest government relations professionals, ultimately in the role of Global Director for Safety and Privacy Policy. She's an absolute twat at Twitter. Yeah, I think Elon sacked her. Fairly sure Elon went in and said, you can pack your bags, honey, on your bike.
I just don't get how the government can set up this whole shebang. When you start looking at Microsoft and Adobe and Twitter and all these global organisations that pay minimal tax in Australia.
Yes.
They absolutely come in here and they rape and pillage and they take huge amounts of income from Australia. And I'm sure that they have ways of offshoring that income and the agreements. And
and you know what? Look at the state of this country. I don't blame them. Get as much money out of Australia as you possibly can. And that's for citizens, not just for Twitter. If you're an Australian citizen and you can find a way to offshore money, you go for it, because this joint's going backwards fast.
Well,
I'm not telling you to, avoid tax, I believe was Kerry Packer's words. I'm telling you should minimise your tax. Well, I'm saying the same thing. You should minimise your asset exposure in Australia at the moment.
Here's a headline from the Sydney Morning Herald in 2022, 5th of June 2022. Twitter Australia paid less than $150,000 in tax in 2021 as a climb in sales and marketing expenses drove the company to a $2 million loss.
It's outrageous.
Poor buggers.
I know.
Should we put the hat round? Should we have a GoFundMe for Twitter?
You know what? Again, if I thought for 1 minute our country was spending money with any degree of value or any degree of priorities for Australia, I'd probably be a little bit offended. But based on the fact that effectively our government are globalist dickheads who put Australians last, tells me that I'm all for these companies ripping the country off. I don't have any support for them whatsoever. And let's not be confused, because I know our conservative watchers will go, see, the Labor Party brought this Sheila in for this business. No, it was the Liberal Party's idea.
Yeah.
Right? The Liberal Party came up with this bright idea of an e-safety commissioner. They rolled it out. Just so happened that Albo implemented it when it was his turn with the baton. So same gang, same bullshit. Government's proposing a new tax target for large tech platforms, which can be offset if the platforms enter into pay agreements with news outlets. Tech companies, including Meta, say they're concerned about the proposal, while Australian media organisations have welcomed it as a positive step, i.e. the traditional media in Australia, I'll translate it, traditional media in Australia who are rolling out bullshit propaganda at every opportunity and legacy views without question, all of a sudden in a position where they're being questioned and they're not making any money because an awful lot of people, as opposed to rooting the Temora Dependent or going to Pterodactyl FM or any of the other legacy media outlets, coming to Dean and Irv Spin Doctors for their news and a little bit of an update. The reason being, they're full of shit.
Here's an article from the 21st of Feb last year. So it's 18 months old.
Yep.
But it's the same theme.
Of course.
Twitter, poor little Twitter, is leaking money in Australia, but they ain't paying much tax either.
Good.
Twitter Australia its revenue grew to, not grew by,
No.
grew to 149,812 revenue. This is ridiculous. Its revenue grew to what? 149 last year, but it only paid around 150. Your revenue is not going to be that, and you're not going to pay that in tax. The tax is more than the revenue.
This is Australia. Every working taxpayer in Australia pays more.
Who wrote this?
Harry, from somewhere. 14.8 million last year. It paid just 149,812
this
income
is
tax.
bullshit.
Of course it is.
Who wrote that?
Now, we all know I'm very protective and caring of my auntie Di.
Yes.
Now, here's what I find more often than not, right? And this is what I suspect happens to an awful lot of people in the wider community. Pardon me. I'll get home. Well, how you going? What's happening? How's things? You know, because she's currently camping at my joint while the house is being built. How's your day? You know, what's happening? Well, did you hear? And she'll start to tell me a story. And then I'll go, oh, yeah, what about? You know, I'll ask a question about said story. She'll go, oh, I don't know. It was behind a paywall. That was just the headline. Now, I'm not throwing shade that people do that, because people do that. These companies and these nefarious mofos, right, they do that because those headlines are all that carries. It's no different to the politicians getting by just on name recognition. So if your name's in the Temora paper often enough, enough people will vote for you to be elected. Well, you look at the two councillors who have been most often in the paper for the last 5 years, get the top two most votes. Don't worry about that. Their best bet, if they had any brains, whatever, would be to leave you alone. The more often you're in the paper with nasty things, the more people are going, hang on a minute. Don't you worry about that. Name recognition carries you a long way in the political space. You know, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not nice what they do, but that's how it works.
Yeah.
Now, what are we doing now? We're looking at full moon.
Well, it's a full moon outside. It's very
close
too, isn't it?
I don't know. I've been here with you.
I'm just putting a background up.
You're the artistic one of the two.
Well, it's a background. It's a dark background, so it doesn't overpower the camera, and our faces aren't black while the screen's white. It's
an artistic thing.
No, it's just a technical thing, believe it or not.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, that's fair and reasonable.
But I'm telling you, you go outside and you have a look, and there's a big fat full moon sitting up there. It's not full; it's very close. I'll tell you exactly where it's up to.
Yeah, right. Couldn't have even told you there was a full moon. I'm in time to think about moons and business.
No, it's doing its thing.
Yeah, right.
And where are we up to? We're getting into that part of the month where the moon doesn't sting.
Couldn't tell you. No idea.
Well, that's why we have months and all those sorts of things.
Well, look, I get all that, but the way the climate change is happening and we're all going to die anyway, I don't really have time to worry about that. I'm too busy being scared.
It's in the full moon phase.
Yeah,
The last quarter will commence on the 16th of August,
right.
next moon phase. So, yeah, we're in the full moon phase, Brew.
That's very exciting. Does that mean we'll start howling like werewolves, or what does that mean?
I imagine.
Do we have any hippies in the audience?
I imagine it's having no. I imagine it's having some impact on the behaviour of some people. Look, the moon does affect a lot of things, and the biggest problem with this technological world that we now engage in is a lot of people have actually lost contact with the natural rhythms of the world, and there's a massive danger with that. The tides, the moons, the sun, the seasons, the whole disconnect from nature is having adverse impacts, and it's being accelerated by this whole digital age. And the disconnect from people from their food sources, the disconnect, people are being herded into these smaller and smaller corrals, and they're being disconnected from their food sources and their whole. In order really to survive as a human, you need food and shelter. There's two prerequisites. And as the government start to control the shelter and they start to control the food supply, they basically control your whole destiny. The way that people can start to take back some of their own autonomy is to establish arrangements where they can control their own production of food, and they can provide shelter and heating and cooling and stuff like that, water, and deal with their own waste in ways that don't require government intervention.
Take all the waste down to local council and drop it on the front.
Well, that's the whole thing. Waste. They call it waste, but it's not waste.
Yeah.
In a natural
setting.
In a natural situation where you're not relying on ultra processed foods arriving in multiple layers of plastic, then waste isn't a thing.
Yeah.
It's all about byproducts, and it's all about your waste is another resource. It goes back in, and it's all about that whole
cycle of for sure.
And even to the point that when a human dies, they basically become
when anything dies, really goes back into the earth or is eaten by other animals or
into the earth, and it becomes part of the dirt that grows the next.
Yep.
Yeah, so there's a huge. I look at the amount of knowledge that's been lost. I can't imagine the understanding that and the navigation by the stars and the whole. So many people have just abrogated their consciousness to their mobile phone.
Yeah.
I want to go here. How do I get there? Ask the phone. Is it cold outside? Ask the phone. Is it going to be hot outside tomorrow? Ask the phone. When will it rain next? Ask the phone. Ask the phone everything. Am I hungry? Ask the phone. Have I done enough steps today? Ask the phone.
It's true.
People have lost touch with who the hell they are. People have lost touch with what they need. People have lost touch with what's important. It's so obvious. And I don't feel negative towards it all. I just feel like there's a real space there for people to start considering and building community around and supporting each other in this whole, grow your own food, build community, share resources.
Yeah.
And try and support each other through that space, because everything you see coming from the mainstream media and the whole program from the government side of things is all about this whole of the e-safety commission. If someone had an article on there about how to disconnect from the grid or how to,
Well, she can arguably go around and have you deleted and removed, and you can't share
because that's too subversive.
Yeah.
When really it's
social cohesion is the word that's been thrown around an awful lot the last few weeks, I've noticed.
Well, social cohesion, what's that? So everyone can sit in their little boxes and in their little cells
and be cohesive, yes. And that's a big thing I've just heard it a lot when I've had the mainstream media on, and I do listen to just enough of it. So
there's a narrative that gets pushed as a generality.
Oh, look, if you go through the mainstream media channels on any given day, and you go through all five of the main 5 traditional channels, if you want to expand that out into the other channels, if you were to go through your day and take notes and pick up key points, you would find that there's
a commonality
across the board. It's quite funny. If you look up certain YouTube videos, you can actually, I think it's mainly in America where there's quite a broad spectrum of media operators. Obviously, it's such a big country. There are actually videos with multiple presenters of multiple different channels, of multiple different programs, all saying the exact same thing within a few degrees of language, all within a week of each other. Like hundreds of them, screens all over there, like it's farcical just how quickly we're all being brainwashed. It's out of control, Did you see the protest on the Harbour Bridge? Thoughts? Any?
I thought it was interesting that the courts upheld their application.
Yep.
And we're talking about the pro-Palestinian protests.
Mm-hmm.
It causes discomfort for some people in the nation to have to contemplate this 2-state solution, or even acknowledge the fact that the Palestinian people have got a valid right to exist on this planet. So, yeah, it was. I thought it was a reasonable outcome for democracy that an opposing view could still.
But is that the opposing view, or is that the mainstream view now?
Well, up until then, it was the opposing view.
You reckon?
Well, it got pushed pretty hard against to have it occur.
Oh, the bridge, you mean? The actual march on the bridge? I thought there's always for and against as far as that, but would you consider the pro-Palestinian view relative to the march mainstream view, or do you think most of the mainstream in Australia is pro-Israel versus pro-Palestine, if you were to say the majority of people in the country?
My gut feeling was that it was pro-Israel.
Up until
there's been enough of a groundswell, and we've had the protests on the steps of Parliament, of the Opera House in Sydney. We've had a number of different protests in this space that are starting to build a momentum, and there's enough alternative media outlets starting to just show the other side of the equation that I think the pendulum swung a little bit that way. I'm certainly not anti-Israel in any sense. I just believe that there's some really negative outcomes at the moment for the people, the Palestinian people, and they're not being considered at all.
No, God no.
And it's really, really disturbing in that space, and you just wonder what's going to be achieved. It's, in some respects, and I understand Hamas poked them in the eye really hard.
Oh God, yeah.
So I'm not that.
Yeah, this wasn't an accident.
It's not unprovoked.
Yeah.
The response.
And they knew what the response was going to be.
But the response has sort of come back to some extent just a little bit too hard.
Well, they've come back, look, there's an old adage that, if you're going to do harm to your enemy, you want to disable him to the point that he can be of no threat.
Ever.
Yes, you don't want to leave an enemy sitting there plotting a revenge, if you will. So I can fully understand where they're coming from on that. If you're going to obliterate somebody, you fucking obliterate them.
Yeah.
Don't have to it.
No, well, they're certainly not.
And that seems to be the argument.
Yeah.
It's obviously sad in all these things, whether Ukraine, Russia, fucking Gaza,
There's some big moves.
Alice Springs, where kids are dying and in poverty and whatever. But all the common theme across all of them is still rich, powerful fuckwits declaring war on each other, and in the middle of it, little brown kids die.
Well, little white kids.
Little white kids die too. You know, like.
Are we finally getting to some point where I've seen some headlines recently where Trump and Putin have arranged a meeting and Zelensky wants to be in it?
Yeah, I saw something about that, so I haven't had really a chance to read up on too much of where the
Are we finally at the point now where I think Trump and Putin are going to have a meeting, and I don't think Zelensky's going to be there.
Zelensky doesn't need to be there. You need to shut up and stay out of the way, pal. He's actually, I mean, look, from all the evidence I've seen and my interpretation of the evidence, I guess, that I've seen and my analysis of it, is he wants this war to go on forever. Because while ever this Ukrainian war's on, he's got himself a nice little mansion. He's got the NATO in his ear. He's got all the cocaine he could possibly want. He's all right, Jack. Every now and then he gets rolled out at an event with his little green jumpsuit on, and you know, and some people disagree with me. That's fine. I think that Zelensky himself needs this to go on for him to be relevant and have any value in any way, shape, or form.
Well, there's going to be some bigger players who just say this is how it's going to be. Slice, dice.
Well, I said it on this program. I'm sure I probably said it on, I don't know, the radio show, depending on. I'm surprised that it didn't happen sooner with the way Trump went in there. To be fair, it was a pretty straightforward argument, that one. Zelensky wants to be in NATO. Russia have outright said, no, they're not going to be in NATO. Okay, here's the deal. You're not being in NATO, but you need to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
They're not getting into NATO. You need to take your troops fuck off home.
Yeah.
There's the Ukrainian war solved in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Because your argument is the problem here is they're encroaching on your territory. Your argument here is that they're not allowed to be in part of NATO. NATO's not allowed on Russian soil. There's your answer to your problem. And I kind of in my head figured that was how it was going to go early on. And Trump's done some things I've been happy with and some others where I've been critical of. Because even though I like him better than I like most of the others, I'm happy enough to be critical of people I like too.
Oh,
but the argument in my head was going to be...
You like him compared to Joe Biden, you can't help but like him. But it doesn't mean he's a great guy or...
Well, I don't look at him as infallible. I don't look at him as the best thing ever. I look at him as a hell of a lot better than most of the other contenders.
He came in with this air of he's going to drain the swamp.
And so far, to a degree, yes. Other areas, I want that fucking Epstein list. I don't care if you're on it. Because what we do know about the Epstein list is the following. There were quite a lot of people who went to the island. We don't know what happened on the island. Plenty of people met Jeffrey Epstein who possibly weren't rooting children on an island. There's quite a possibility of this when you've got a guy who's multi-trillionaire running around and you're in circles. That just knowing the guy doesn't mean you're compromised. But it does mean, okay, you've got to come out and go, all right, now who was there? Right, now who was on this Lolita Express going to the island? That's where next, how hard do you want to drill it? And you lose a lot of credibility when you come into Parliament and your whole team's going, yep, we're going to come in, we're going to put this on the table. Then you're in there, it's, what list? Yeah. I'm pretty pissed off with them on that. But other things I think have been pretty good. I know a lot of people pissed off at the tariffs. I don't like any taxes. And a tariff is a tax. But if I'm the president of America, instead of taxing my people, I'm going to tax the countries who want to do business here. It's not his job to appease Australians' business needs. It's not his job to appease the Australian president or the Chinese or anybody else. It's his job to protect and defend and make his people's lives better. Now, if those tariffs bring in X amount of revenue and he drops those taxes for the American citizens, he's done his job. If he screws Australia over while doing it, I'll go, fuck, that hurt. Right, we need to screw him right back. That's our job, is to go, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Fair spare, pal, and that's how you do a deal.
And the thing is, and people will say, oh, well, he's taxing his own people because prices will go up on imported goods. But his logic is that, yes, that's correct. So there's a lot of impetus to actually
manufacture goods in
bring the production back
in America.
Sure.
And that's his motivation.
And these people might be paying more for their goods, but they'll be making them themselves, and they'll have meaningful, well-paying jobs
based on that more insular cycle,
yes.
as opposed to what Australia's currently got here. Where if China says to us tomorrow, listen, we've decided we're not sending you fucking anything.
Oh.
We've got 6 months, probably 3, and Australia's done. We will be absolutely destitute and in poverty because our entire production cycle for just about everything comes out of China.
I don't think we could make a paper plane because I don't think we can make paper anymore.
That's correct.
That's where we're at.
We've so
dumbed down. We've been so lazy. We've been so
we're a country where 1 in 5 are on disability at the NDIS.
But we've sat here and just said, okay, come and get our shit. We've got tons of shit. Come and buy our shit. We'll just sit here, drink it stubbish. And you know,
it's embarrassingly sad how inept Australia is at doing anything anymore. For a bunch of, we've got a very, very short history as a country. But
there was
very
some
short
great
history
was some great industriousness.
And we had an awful lot of stuff going on. And instead of that being amazing.
I watched a video the other night on the 186 motor that the engineers at General Motors Holden made. And it was a locally produced engine, and it actually turned out to be really, really highly, back in the day, compared to the American counterparts.
Yeah.
It was a really high output and highly efficient engine, and very reliable. And it was a corporate decision from General Motors that they said, no, it'll be a local motor only. They were protecting jobs and factories and production lines in the States.
Yeah.
And they never actually. So there's all these other things that will come to play. You can have a great idea, you can have a great product, you can have all these other things, but if the big guys want to shut you down,
they can and they will.
Yes. So even to that end, though, you've just got to.
But the fact that Australia has no powerhouse companies of any description, the fact that we're not players in any, and how we're crapping on about we're a leader in green technology. Oh, good, we're a leader in a failed industry. Fantastic.
Well, but what part? How are we a leader in it? What are we doing?
Nothing.
Like the wind farm.
The one that went bankrupt the other day.
No, but the wind farm. Where's all the components come from? They come from Europe.
Yeah.
All the solar panels come from China. What are the look? Snowy Hydro. Every single piece of gear on that site
is manufactured elsewhere,
other than the rock and the water and the sun, has come from elsewhere.
Yeah.
Like, what are we world leaders in?
Nothing. We're world leaders in nothing.
World leaders in BS.
It's absolutely embarrassing.
Natural gas coming out of elbows.
Well, we're world leaders in censoring the internet so that people don't ask questions.
It's a world first.
Well, fucking lucky us.
We're the first people in the world to have an e-safety commissioner so that people of Australia can't learn the truth.
So that our children can only watch porn, they can't watch Dean and Nerve Spin Doctors.
People of Australia can't learn the truth about how decrepit the whole thing's become.
It's out of control, mate.
Look, again, I only look at what I do on my day-to-day and week-to-week and month-to-month thing, and I'm telling you, I still pinch myself at how much opportunity and just the life I lead. Honestly, I want for nothing.
Look, life can be pretty good in Australia, but by Christ, you got to work for it. You got to earn it,
and you've got to be prepared to carve out your independence, and you've got to march to the beat of a different drum. You cannot.
Oh, look, you've either got to get on the teat and absolutely suck
hard,
or if you want to run your own race, you've got to be willing to run your own race.
And look, this is the whole thing. It's like people would rather sit in their cell for the security of their cell than actually walk outside in the real world and have the risk of something going wrong.
Absolutely.
They want to sit in their cells and be protected and given 3 meals a day of gruel.
But they know they'll come and what time
They know
come.
the gruel will come.
Yes.
And they can just sit there and be patted on the head, and they just be told what time to wake up, and they're told what time to eat, and they're told what time to go to bed, and they can exercise then, and that's their...
And it's a very secure life.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Oh, God,
You know, but you just don't determine any of your own...
You don't, yeah, you don't have any of your own autonomy.
No,
you're a cow in a feedlot.
And you're also stuck in this soul-destroying thing where you actually none of your passions are indulged, and you really achieve nothing. So, you know, there's a lot of that, and I don't know. There's less and less people in Australia today who are prepared to really to build their own outcomes and to be brave enough.
Oh, look, for sure. And you know what? And I don't blame them either, because it's fucking daunting. It's isolating. It is pretty scary stuff.
Yeah, but it's all there, and you can do it, and you can.
You can.
And then, look, what I'm saying is that since COVID, there's a lot of people who have looked around and sought alternatives and thought, well, you know, maybe the government isn't our friend.
Sure. There's also a lot of others, though, who have bedded in down, so they're keeping us safe.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people who've said, you know, maybe we should just consider looking at alternatives so that we could, you know, survive a little bit more of a downturn, or a little bit more of a prolonged period of not being able to access certain services, or yeah, I don't know. I really do think that Australia seems to be...
Yeah, there's almost two Australias, really.
Yeah, there's the tit-sucking, cell-dwelling...
The parasitical, thank God they're here to...
Thank God they're protecting us.
And we are so well looked after.
We're so well looked after. All we've got to do is do what we're told.
Over 50% of the Australian population are reliant on some version of government money.
Yes, which is their own money.
That's terrifying.
Yes.
No, it's not just their own money, it's our money as well.
That's right, but it's basically you're saying, oh, well, let's set a situation up where all of our taxes go back to our... I don't know.
It's a scary time.
Yeah, so, look, like I say, my life's fantastic. I really... I'm not going to go into the details of my last week or the week before, but we've been... Like, I'm blessed. The stuff that I enjoy on a day-to-day and a week-to-week, and the work I enjoy and the opportunities I enjoy, and the relationships I have with my clients, they really are rewarding. And yeah, it is difficult sometimes to stand your own ground and to take the risk, and you have to be brave enough to back yourself. But I think the rewards are
worthwhile.
Oh, and even if you fail a bit, it's still a better outcome than
if you're not failing a dozen times a day while rolling forward. It's easy to fail while doing nothing.
Yes,
but you know, if you're not failing forward a dozen times a day, you need to kind of go, what am I doing in the day? Because there's 24 hours in that period. There's a lot of things you can be bashing away at.
Yeah, and just keep moving forward, and you're never going to get it all right, but
no, God no.
But at least it's your trip, it's your determination, and it's your
thing. I mean, look, I obviously with all the little projects that I have on the go at any given time.
Yeah, you're not,
you know, like
not every single one of them is running absolutely perfectly.
No, well, we spoke about car issues this week. You know, that one's usually the smoothest. You know, I think I'm at 43 cars after today. Out of 64 days or something. So I'm still chasing my tail, but I'm at about a 60% hit rate, which puts me in the upper echelon of the industry from what I can tell, which is funny because I'm 2 years in. But, you know, you look at that, and then we've had a couple of little wins in the freight business today. You know, okay, cool, that one's been poking me in the eye for weeks, annoying the shit out of me. And that's had a couple of really positive little, okay, well, that's an interesting turn of events.
Yeah, we've been enjoying some good wins in alternative businesses that I'm involved in, and just recommendations from sources that weren't expected.
Yep.
So then that's just, it's just.
And it just changes things. And sometimes, the opportunity knocks. The pest control calls have started for summer, look,
of course they will.
Can you, when are you available? When are you coming to our community? When can we book in my house, my cousin's house, my auntie's house, all that sort of thing? There's a lot going on.
As the days get longer, you will fill them with work.
Oh, I will absolutely fill them with work. And I've got a couple of weeks coming off where I'm going to be doing no work whatsoever.
Yeah.
I've almost got the framework for the new newsletter.
Yeah.
So for the people who watch the program, won't be long, and I'll be saying submit your emails to get a weekly newsletter.
Yeah.
Won't just be Councillor Irvine and I contributing. We've got a few other potential contributors who will change and cycle through, but they're going to.
And it's not going to be extensive. We're just going to pick out relevant.
There'll be 4 or 5 little key things each week. Yeah. There might be. We won't have a mayor's report. We might have a mad mayor's report. There'll be, look, it'll be available, and it'll just be, did you guys know about this? There might be a Councillor Irvine report on them.
Well, like I say, even the fact that ICAC raided Parramatta City Council and it's still not on the front
page of the news,
and there's nothing on ICAC's website what
they did it for, or how, why, where. So we'll try and bring that to everybody, of course, and it'll be kind of fun, and we'll do that. And in between all that, geez, there's been a lot going on, really, but it's been good fun.
No, all good.
Ladies and gentlemen, beers with the Spin Doctors.
No, it's been a great Saturday night.
Very civilised.
Yeah. Oh, look, I think we've stuck very closely to the free speech in local government New South Wales guidelines, as issued on the 3rd of June.
As issued on the 3rd of June.
So.
But we do appreciate you all tuning in and obviously catching up with us.
Too much either.
No, I don't recall. I think we've had a couple little words. I think we're up to about 190 viewers so far for the evening on Saturday, an impromptu Saturday.
No.
So that's always
thanks for the support. And we're going to do our best to bring you more stuff. And have no fear. You can speak up in this community and you will be supported and you will be protected and you'll be heard.
Absolutely, you will.
And don't ever think that you haven't got a platform.
And if some silly donkey comes and words you up on the sideline and tells you you're not allowed to do that, just let us know.
Yes, because we'll
let us know, because I'll be more than happy.
At large.
Absolutely, I'll go and do a live interview with them and say, how do you feel about harassing and bullying people? Who the frig do you think you are?
Yes.
And I mean, I've only got 2.9 thousand people, kind of on here.
That's about half the population of tomorrow.
That's about half the population. That's just on the one side, not to mention the other side, plus Twitters, plus all. I mean, it's only a very, very mild audience. But I'll tell you what, if you're going to be bullied by somebody, I'm more than happy to go up there with a live camera and go, hey, here you go, you're live on air, pal. Yeah. So there you go, answer the damn questions. I can be current. If Current Affair can do it, I can do it.
Oh, of course.
I'll be very classy about it.
No.
All right, everyone, have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks for tuning in. It's been a pleasure.
See you next Thursday.
Thursday night it is.
Good on you.